Watch this debate carefully. In the next few minutes, you will see something unusual happen. One side answers a question. The other side does not even realize the question has changed. Most discussions after the debate focus on who won. Almost nobody notices that the debate itself has shifted. Let me show you why. Look at the title of this debate. Is China an alternative to Western democracy? The debate begins long before either speaker opens their mouth. It begins with an assumption that became enormously influential after the Cold War. Political scientist Francis Fukuyama called it the end of history. The assumption is simple. Western liberal democracy is the destination of political development. Everything else is viewed as a copy, a deviation, or a system still catching up. So, when many Western observers hear the question, they think, China is not there yet. One day it will catch up. Let's see how far it still has to go. That is the mindset entering this room. Zhang Weiwei is not operating from that premise. The Western debater does not realize it until the conversation has already moved onto different ground.
I also made another prediction 6 years and a half ago. I said the United States and China both need political reforms. But in the case of China, small reforms have been going on all the time in the political system. We fix problems here and there. But I said the problem is the United States. Your political system was a product of pre-industrial era. And I made a forecast. I said, without significant, substantial political reform, my concern is in your next elections, you will produce a leader worse off than George W. Bush.
Now, how does the West hear this? They hear criticism, defensiveness, maybe even an insult. But that is not what is happening. Weiwei is not defending his system. He is changing the way we judge systems. He is saying, do not judge us by how we choose leaders. Judge us by what our leaders deliver, and judge you by the same standard. He has moved the first layer of the debate. It is no longer about procedure. It is now about results. The Western debater does not stop him. He does not say, wait, procedure matters more than results. He lets a shift happen. And that is the first moment the frame changes.
But China is a civilizational state. I remember when Henry Kissinger wrote his famous book on China, he started with this quote. He said, my goodness, look at this China. It's different. China uses this unique language, which started 3,500 years ago. It's 1,000 years earlier than ancient Greek, 1,500 years earlier than ancient Latin. But these two European languages were dead languages. Chinese are still using the same language. This line of culture and continuation of civilization, uninterrupted.
Then Weiwei plays the history card. He says China's language is 3,500 years old, older than Greek, older than Latin, and those European languages are dead. China's language is still alive. He calls China a civilization state. What's he doing here? He is offering a different source of legitimacy. The West says, we are legitimate because we have the right procedures, elections, rights, laws. Weiwei says, we are legitimate because we have survived for 3,500 years. Continuity is our proof. He is not saying one is better. He is saying, we are not even the same kind of thing. This is a deeper shift. Now the debate is not just about metrics. It is about what counts as legitimate in the first place.
More than respect, I admire Chinese civilization. I admire Chinese history. I have been all my life an admirer of Chinese art, but I don't admire your political system. I find much more admirable and worth of respect when you have the right to speak freely, when you have the right to not to be contaminated by terrible pollution.
Watch what he just did. He accepts the historical frame. He admires the civilization. He does not say, survival does not make you legitimate. Instead, he pivots to a different critique. He lists rights, freedom, clean air. He is no longer defending the process of democracy as intrinsically valuable. He is arguing for better results on Weiwei's scoreboard. He has accepted the shift without realizing it. He lets this new source of legitimacy stand unchallenged.
So this is why we have, indeed, for instance, this whole idea of meritocracy. Why I say confident? I said with my debate with Professor Fukuyama, I said, if you look at the top leadership in China, we've just had the party's Congress, minimum requirement, 2 terms of provincial governor or similar position, which means you have to govern at least 100 million people, given the size of China, before you came to one of the top 7 positions, decision-making bodies. I said to Fukuyama, I said, with this Chinese methodology, meritocracy-based system, we can say with certainty, we can improve the system. There are problems, we can fix it. But we will not produce any leaders like George W. Bush. It's way below the Chinese bar. That's my point.
Now Weiwei brings up Fukuyama directly. He says, I told Fukuyama, look at our system. Before you reach the top 7 positions in China, you have to govern 100 million people. We will not produce any leaders like George W. Bush. Notice what he is doing now. He is no longer just comparing systems. He is comparing performance. He is saying, your system produced Bush. Our system would not have. Judge us by that. This is the third shift. First, he changed the metric from procedure to results. Then he changed the source of legitimacy from principles to continuity. Now he's changing the evaluation method from philosophy to empirical comparison. The Western debater does not reject this framing. He does not say, Bush was democratically elected. That is what matters. He lets the comparison of output stand. The frame has shifted 3 times. The West has not objected once.
I would be happy if there was one day a real Chinese Spring, a real cultural revolution of Chinese people saying it's good to have wealth, it's good to have gross product, it's good to have exportation, but it's good also to have human rights.
Then comes a revealing moment. The Western debater says, I hope there will be a real Chinese Spring where Chinese people demand human rights alongside wealth. He is not debating anymore. He is hoping. He is projecting the Western story onto China. He assumes that Chinese people, once they have wealth, will want Western-style rights. This suggests he cannot see any other path. Weiwei's entire argument has been that China is on a different path, one where stability, security, and material delivery define legitimacy. The Western debater appears not to register this possibility. He is so sure his path is universal that he may not even perceive Weiwei's path as real. This is a 4th shift. The vocabulary has changed. The West is no longer debating what is. They are debating what they hope will happen. That is a different conversation entirely.
Actually, it depends on how do you define democracy. I like this Nexus Forum because you said at the very beginning, you said we discussed the real meaning of democracy, real democracy. But unfortunately, so far what we see, as shown in Arab Spring, about one person, one vote, a multi-party system, that's at the best procedural democracy. That's not necessarily the real democracy. Real democracy is far more important, as you said, about education, about many other important ideals. In terms of China, let me quote from everybody knows Confucius. Yeah. And he said, people are like water. Regime or leaders are like boat. water can carry the boat and also overturn the boat.
Now, the most significant shift. Weiwei takes the most important word in the Western vocabulary, democracy, and he redefines it. He says, what you call democracy is procedural. What we have is real democracy. He does not say, we do not have democracy. He says, you have the fake version. We have the real version. He quotes Confucius, water can carry the boat, but it can also overturn it. His argument, legitimacy comes from the people's satisfaction, not from the ballot box. Now, whether this is true is not the point. The point is, the Western debater does not object. He does not say, that is not what democracy means. He lets Weiwei redefine the central term of the entire debate. This is the moment the debate changes fundamentally. The West's most sacred word has been taken and repurposed, and they did not contest it.
You said that Weiwei had this equivalence between political systems, but he does not have equivalence. He has a clear preference. He believes that authoritarian systems are superior to democracy. He explicitly said that democracy yields to bad governance, if I'm not mistaken. Would you recommend to your government to go out in the world and promote what you think is good governance and less promote the cause of less democracy or non-democracy?
No, it's not. Actually, Chinese are very modest. I'm being slightly less modest.
Yeah.
China do not export its model, do not advocate its model. But once you are successful, if you go to Africa, people talk about looking east. They have tried the Western model for decades, not working, Look to the east.
The moderator asks, would China export this model? The Western debater interrupts. He believes authoritarian systems are superior to democracy. But watch Weiwei's response. He says, we are modest. We do not advocate this model. Then he adds, Africa tried the Western model for decades. Not working. They're looking east. What's he doing here? He is refusing to play the export game. He is saying, I do not need to sell you anything. The results speak for themselves. If others want to learn, they can watch. The West is trying to force Weiwei into the role of a missionary. He refuses. He says, I am not a missionary. I am a successful example. This final shift has global implications. The debate is no longer just about China versus the West. It is about which model other nations will choose. The Western debater appears not to realize that this is now a question about influence, not just comparison. There is one moment worth pausing on. One of the Western debaters asks a genuinely sharp question. How strong is the system if economic performance is not there?
My question is the following. The Chinese system at the moment, in my view, works fine based on an incredibly important economic performance. How strong is the system if economic performance is not there?
He is directly engaging with Weiwei's performance-based framework. He is saying, fine, you win on results today, but what about tomorrow? This is the only time the West actually challenges the new frame within its own logic. It is the right question. It targets the vulnerability of Weiwei's framework. But watch what happens next.
My question is the following. The Chinese system at the moment, in my view, works fine based on an incredibly important economic performance. How strong is the system if economic performance is not there? So if we want to be serious, we should be open to the vulnerability of both regimes, because otherwise we go in a rhetorical story, which probably could offer a performance, but is not helping us more. And just on Bernardo and Levy, I do believe that the Spanish government should be very happy that you went to Kurdish regions and didn't end up in Catalonia at the same moment.
The Western debater does not wait for an answer. He does not press the point. He abandons his best strategic question to deliver a sermon. That is the tragedy of the whole debate. They missed the frame shift entirely. But even when they found a crack in the new frame, they walked away from it. The opportunity was there. They let it pass. The title asked, "Is China an alternative to Western democracy?" The West heard, "Is China a different version of the same thing?" Weiwei never answered that question. He answered a different one. Which system delivers better results? Whether his case is valid is not for us to decide. The point is, the West let him change the question. They accepted every shift. They argued on his terms. And the reason? They never thought they needed to defend their frame. They assumed it was universal. They assumed China was still a student waiting to graduate. But here is the deeper irony. The West had one moment of clarity. They asked the right question, the one that could have exposed a vulnerability in Weiwei's framework. How strong is the system if economic performance is not there? And they walked away from it. They did not press the point. They retreated to moral outrage. They missed a frame shift, and they missed the opportunity within it. Next time you watch a debate like this, do not ask, who is right? Ask, who defined the terms of this conversation? Because in this room, one side walked in assuming they were the teacher, and the other side quietly changed the lesson plan. They missed it. Now you see it.